When you're a desperate amnesiac with no one to call your own, you ought to get desperate to know about your identity. However, everything comes with a price. In Sven's case, if he wishes to know about his past and his identity, he must earn a lot of money and travel to Stan, an advanced country that harbors the right technology to bring back one's memories. Under the guidance of his blue-feathered chicken friend, Daibo, who I'm assuming got tired of fighting ugly pigs and made his escape from the Angry Birds realm, Seven is ready to become a callous murderer. Daibo tells Seven that it's Assassin 101 to open up a hair salon that'll serve as their cover for their illegal work, and luckily Seven has always been dexterous with a pair of scissors. Next up, Daibao hands Seven transformation eggs that can transform him into anything, and a chicken assistance that'll more or less serve as his ride. And before you can ask, yes, he can fly. Now, as for Seven's first assignment, he must cut a bride's hair. When Seven sneaks in the wedding and sees the slideshow of the bride and groom's memories, he's overcome with emotions and accidentally cuts the groom's hair and then the bride's. As he's making his escape from the angry mob, Seven runs into a Stan's bot who attacks him upon seeing the token from the Killer's League. A masked assassin makes an appearance and obliterates the bot. He asks Seven about the token, and as he's about to kill him, Seven is saved by his chicken assistant. The chief of cats, Meow Kitty, asks her subjects how they plan on annihilating the dogs of Chicken Island. When her subordinates give her stupid answers, Meow Kitty tosses them away until one pitches the idea of hiring an assassin. After summoning Seven, Meow Kitty tells them that she wants him to gouge the leader's eyes out. When Seven arrives at the dog's lair, he tries to distract the dogs guarding the entrance by throwing chicken and playboys. Realizing that the security is way stricter than he anticipated, Seven transforms into a dog. After being trampled multiple times by the army of dogs, Seven finally learns of his mistakes and starts crab walking. As he's doing so, he bumps into three dogs. Once he affirms the leader's identity from the photo given by Meow Kitty, the guard dogs ask for Seven's identity. When Seven gives a false name of Mad Bark, the leader chokes Seven and claims that he's Mad Bark. Seven then makes an attempt to gouge Mad Bark's eyes out, but his failed attempts cause Mad Bark to transform into a beefed up and angry dog. As the two start fighting, Mad Bark finds the picture of him given by Meow Kitty and realizes that Meow Kitty sent Seven. Mad Bark melodramatically reveals that Meow Kitty and him were in love, but when he found out the two can't breed, Mad Bark decided to leave Meow Kitty despite having love for her. Realizing that he's failed the mission, Seven makes his escape and later transforms into Mad Bark. He sings to Meow Kitty about loving her and revealing his reasons to leave her. The masked assassin makes a reappearance. This time she's after Mad Bark. Meow Kitty tells Seven, who is still in Mad Bark's disguise, that the masked assassin is called Killer 13. An assassin that's ranked 37 on the killer ranking. So not even Meow Kitty's loyal courtiers are a match for the ruthless Killer 13. After Seven makes his escape, he reverts to his original form, but Killer 13 doesn't seem to believe him and launches a series of attacks on Seven, in a battle of sword versus Seven's trusted scissors. During their fight, Seven manages to unmask Killer 13 and is stunned to find a beautiful girl. Killer 13, on the other hand, is boiling with anger and vows to kill Seven. Being a man that's driven by hormones, Seven asks 13 out on a date. As Seven's about to make his escape through his chicken ride, Xiaofei, 13 pulls out poisonous darts that hit Xiaofei and Seven in the butt, causing them to fall. No matter how pretty the girl is, but if she comes for your butt, you ought to strike back. Therefore, Seven comes in form and goes on to attack 13, but she's able to best him. As 13's about to kill Seven, Xiaofei transforms into a buff chicken, causing 13 to retreat. As 13 calls for her bird ride, Seven hollers at her and tells 13 to call him. After all, only a girl that tried to kill you can fix you. Charity Jiang of the Purity Island visits Seven in his salon. She hands him a photo and Seven cuts Chairman Jiang's hair depicted in the photo. As Seven admires his handiwork, Chairman Jiang irritatedly informs Seven that she wanted him to kill the person in the photo. Whilst grinding her teeth in anger, Chairman Jiang tells Seven that this man is an underwear thief and she wants him gone or else Seven can kiss his sweet little salon goodbye. For his new mission, Seven transforms himself as sexy underwear so that the Underpants Man can take him to his home. Once Seven gets to the Underpants Man's home, the panty-stealing pervert excitedly decides to try on his newly found treat. As Seven's about to say hello to the Underpants Man's nuts, a knock at the door diverts his attention. The Underpants Man quickly hides Seven disguised as panties and checks the door only to find Chairman Jiang and her pretentious mean girl clique. When the triad confronts the Underpants Man, he reveals that he never stole the panties, but only brought them from the store. Chairman Jiang falls deaf to the Underpants Man's helpless pleas to not burn his unholy shrine of panties and decides to torch up his house. Just then, Seven jumps to the rescue by peeing on the fire to extinguish it. But this doesn't surprise Chairman Jiang, as she smugly tells Seven that she knew he couldn't be trusted, so she placed a tracker on him so Seven could lead her right to Underpants Man's house. As the fight breaks out between Seven and the Purity Triad, Seven tries to reason out, but things go south. He uses his opponent's weaknesses to best them. Once Seven outwins the Golden Girls, he tells the Underpants Man that only a pervert can understand another pervert. In the streets of Chicken Island, Granny Chen is selling her oranges. A young man walks up to her and inquires about the taste of the oranges. Granny Chen politely offers him to try an orange first. When the young man exclaims that the orange is bitter, Granny Chen cunningly asks the man to pay her 200 yen. After the man accuses Granny Chen of running a scam, the old lady kicks her fruits and rolls over, pretending to be hurt. As the crowd starts to gather around, the man is forced into paying her for all the fruit. When Granny Chen smugly laughs at her deviousness, Seven, disguised as a box, rules that death is an easy way out for this wretched woman. As Seven begins to follow Granny Chen, who upon noticing the box tries to fold it by stomping on it, once she has quite literally folded Seven, she makes her way to pick up her grandson, Xiao Long. When she makes it to her grandson's elementary school, she greets the delinquents lurking around the school. Granny Chen then asks the boys to look after her little Xiao Long. As she's waiting for Xiao Long, a dog tries to snatch away her bag. When the tug of war breaks between the dog and Granny Chen, it forces Seven to transform into his original form. As Seven is checking for injuries, Granny Chen gives Seven additional injuries through her hairpin. She demands money for the wreckage Seven caused her, and when Seven explains his dire financial situation, she starts beating him up. Luckily, the bell saves Seven from the savage woman. As Granny Chen abandons her vindictiveness to greet Xiao Long, she notices the absurd haircut on Xiao Long. Enraged, she demands to know who cut her grandson's hair. When Xiao Long points at Seven, Granny starts furiously stripping, revealing an outfit of a dominatrix. When blushing hard, Seven then realizes that the person that hired him to kill Granny Chen was her own son. When she roughs up Seven, Daibo decides to step in and help Seven in his mission. As he aims the arrow at Xiao Long, Granny Chen quickly puts herself as a shield to protect Xiao Long, but he's eventually saved by Seven, who jumps to protect her and Xiao Long. Dude's way too nice to be an assassin. As Seven's about to kill a beautiful young girl by the name of Cola, she demands to have her bucket list fulfilled and then promises that she'll let Seven have her head. Being the cold-hearted, ruthless killer, Seven accepts Cola's deal. As they're about to begin a series of adventures, Cola jumps on Seven's back for a piggyback ride. Cola starts her bucket list by drinking Coca-Cola with Seven in one breath. Then it's peeing while standing. For the next task, Seven is seen roaming around the Chicken Island naked while Cola records him. From there, they proceed to give a nurse an injection. As they're fleeing from a series of injections aimed at their way, they make their way to a 3-star hotel and then dash from there while they're unable to pay. Next, they take down Cola's douche ex because, yes, revenging your ex should be one of your dying wishes. For the next wish, Seven transforms into a lion to give Cola a ride, but then a horny lion comes along and takes Seven for a ride. For her last wish, Cola demands to go skydiving. Seven calls Yao Fei, who lifts them into outer space and then drops them to the ground. As the bucket list comes to an end, Cola wishfully says that she doesn't want to die. But then she reveals that it was actually her who hired Seven to assassinate her, as she has cancer and wanted to die in a cool way. Seven, however, refuses to kill her and takes her to a miracle doctor. In order to make their ends meet, Seven and Daibao are seen selling coconuts at the beach. The job isn't as daunting as it sounds because they get to see hot bikini babes, and what's better than that? Just as Seven's about to fulfill the purpose of his life by lathering a semi-nude woman in tanning oil, he's dragged off by Daibao for a killing assignment. Uncle Chen gives the last of his savings to 7 and orders him to infiltrate the largest of the incoming submarines and kill the captain. Without proper diving gear, 7 is forced to use the Gaiba egg to transform into a fish. As 7 gets into the water, he pretends to drown, which catches the crewmate, Ah Jin's attention. When Ah Jin brings 7 inside the submarine, a fight breaks out between him and Ah Jun, another crewmate, over what dish they'll make out of 7. This tussle between Ah Jin and Ah Jun leads to 7 being mercilessly tossed, kicked, and stomped. Then Captain Jack makes his grand appearance and announces they'll make a sashimi out of 7. As Jack is about to slice 7 up, 7 dodges his attacks by bouncing around the place. Just when Captain Jack's at his wit's end, he irritatedly brings 7 disguised as a fish next to his face. 7 reverts to his original form and tries to make a sneak attack on Jack. While the two engage in a fight, and like always, 7 is ridiculing himself, Jack has a flashback of the past, where someone that looked exactly like 7 tried to kill him. The scar from that attack is still present on his face. Captain Jack then tries to test 7, but realizes that he's just a look-alike, as there's no way they're both the same person since 7 is clearly weak and lacks the murderous intent. As a last resort, 7 and Jack indulge in a game where the first to move from his place will do whatever the winner demands. 7 manages to win this round by pulling a silly face. He then asks Captain Jack to retreat, and Jack amiably obliges. In the end, the day is somehow saved by 7 once again. For his next mission, 7 is hired by a fed-up wife to kill her cheating husband. The wife puts in extra request to have her husband's family jewels chopped and brought to her. But unfortunately, no matter how hard he tries, he cannot seem to get closer to his target because of the indestructible virgin, aka Hei Da-chun, the bodyguard. Hei Da-chun proves that it's always the Chad virgins that stay winning, as he flexes his muscles and easily counters 7's every move during a hand-to-hand combat, as portrayed in Hollywood movies. While Da-chun is built like Bruce Lee, 7 has his abs underneath layers of fat. To seal the deal for once and all, Hei Da-chun holds 7 in a chokehold position called the 7-day lock. True to its name, Da-chun keeps 7 in the chokehold for days. This forces them to spend all their activities together, so you can imagine what happens next when 7 drops the soap while bathing. During this period of time, Killer 13 makes an appearance and tries to assassinate, but thanks to Da-chun's sturdy build, her sword breaks the moment it touches Da-chun's body. As she's forced to retreat, 13 vows to kill 7. Later that day, while sitting on the docks, 7 finally gives up and the two have a heart-to-heart about their career choices. 7 admits that he went into his line of work because he wanted to earn money, while Da-chun says that he became a bodyguard because everyone needs protection. When the boys see a missile headed their way, Da-chun chooses to protect everyone around him one last time and puts himself in front of the missile. From the water emerges the Prince of Stan. Meanwhile, Xiao Fei becomes a buffed-up chicken and saves Hei Da-chun. As Xiao Fei brings Da-chun to the surface, Dai Bo scolds him for saving Da-chun when he instructed him to save 7. On the other hand, 7 confronts the Stanian prince about why he's hell-bent on destroying the island. Through facial recognition, the prince determines 7's identity as the chief killer of Xian Wu. Appalled by the discovery, the Stanian prince launches an attack on 7. As he's dodging said attack, 7 regains bits of his past. When Xiao Fei rescues 7 from the scene, Dai Bo explains to 7 that 3 kinds of people live in the world. One are called Xian Wu, second are the Stanians, and third are basically background noise, aka people like 7 and him. Dai Bo further tells 7 that Xian Wu, who believe in spiritual power, have been at war with Stanians for as long as Stanians believe, more than just spiritual power. At the center of the island, the prince attempts to destroy a large rock. As he's doing so, he announces to the islanders to evacuate as the island will sink once he retrieves what's underneath the rock. The concerned citizens of Chicken Island start to battle the Stanian prince one by one. First, Meow Kitty and Mad Bark reunite with each other to fight the invader. Once they're defeated, Uncle Chen tries to stop the enemy but gets hit by a laser beam. Then Cola tries to put the Stanian prince in a love spell. However, the prince ain't any simp, so he tosses Cola aside. Just as Chairman Jiang is about to die while fighting the enemy, 7 heroically saves her. As 7 accepts Da-chun's money and decides to take the Stanian prince on, Dai Bo tries to stop him. He also reveals that he lied to 7 and in reality they're not childhood friends, as he found 7 on the shore 2 years ago. When 7 didn't seem to have recollection of his past, he gave him a new identity, but 7 has made up his mind. As he's leaving, Dai Bo hands him a dagger that was once wielded by him. Despite having a badass sword by his side, 7 struggles to protect himself, let alone the island. 13 and Xiao Fei come to his aid, and while the trio try their their best to finish off the Stanian Prince, he manages to outlast them with his technological innovations. As the Stanian Prince is about to annihilate everyone, Seven holds him in a chokehold position that he learned from Da Chun. Then he summons his scissors, which pierces the prince and him. While Seven falls to the ground, the prince rises and says that he has a gorilla heart, so he can't die quickly. As 13 faces the prince, Seven recalls his past and wakes up as the chief of Zhan Wu. With murderous intent, he manages to send the Stanian Prince to the stars and saves the island from being demolished. Meanwhile, 13 uses transcendental vision to show the entire scene to her master, who orders her to kill Seven. When Seven wakes up, he finds the islanders waiting for him. Seeing him return to his goofy self puts everyone in a relaxed state. Seven also receives his scissors through 13. And that's the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading a lot of videos just like this, so I'll see you at the next one.